you can get through it. You did it once, you can do it again. And the more you do it, just like repetition at the gym, the workout, the more you do it, the stronger you get. And so now when the fear, the worry, the doubt knocks on my door, I can recognize it. For one, I recognize it. And two, I don't pay attention to it. Right? They talk about a bird can land on your head, but it's only you that's going to let it stay there. Right? You can't necessarily stop the bird from landing on your head. That thought, you can't stop the thought from entering your mind, but you can definitely keep it from sitting there and residing in your mind. You can prevent it from dwelling on it. Are you dwelling on things that you shouldn't be dwelling on? Change your thought.
Are you confident? Do you have consistency? How much conviction do you have? I'm Daniel Gomez, the Confidence Architect, a business strategist, keynote speaker, executive coach, and best-selling author. On the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, we will help you unlock confidence to create consistency and develop conviction. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence. Welcome back to another episode of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. It's been a great month so far. And let me tell you, with every new month, there comes new opportunities. But a lot of times those opportunities are come to you and to me as challenges and as problems. And I got to tell you, I had some challenges this month to start off, and physically, mentally, hurting my foot has really challenged who I am at the core. And the gentleman that we have a guest today, I believe he's an overcomer in many areas of his life. He's overcome many challenges. So I think he's fit because he's a good person, has a great heart. So I want to welcome to the show right now, Titus Kleppinger. What's going on, Titus, sir?
Hello, Daniel Gomez.
How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing incredible. I woke up and I did some yoga this morning, some stretching, and got the fibers of my body moving. And yes, I feel incredible.
Well, man, I know who you are. You're an amazing gentleman. Actually, I just had the pleasure of spending some time with you here a couple of months ago in your home state of Colorado. And I got to say, one thing that I really admired about you, man, you really touched my heart. I was checking out of my hotel room, and the gentleman goes, "Hey, you can't leave, Mr. Gomez. There's a package for you here." And I'm like, "Dude, you got the wrong person. I don't have a package waiting for me." And I didn't really expect anything to come in. Well, earlier that couple of days, me and Titus had lunch. What turned out that Titus went back to the hotel and left me a little keepsake from his great state of Colorado. And I'll tell you that really just made my day. That's just the type of person he is. He's loving, he's giving. But that's enough. I want you to tell the world of the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show, Titus. Who is Titus Kleppinger?
Well, I'm going to give you a little backstory here. And my childhood was very difficult. My father left when I was 5. My stepdad was verbally and physically abusive. I could feel the feeling of abandonment in the womb before I was even born. And my stepdad was the type of person, he still is, to where he wants you to play small, be quiet, sit in the corner. And I moved from that situation into a religious situation, to where it was very much abide and live by their rules, live in their box. And I did that for 20 years, right? We moved out to Colorado in December of 99. And we've raised 5 children here. And I got sick and tired of being put in that box. And I continually heard the phone ringing, that phone ringing with God on the other side saying, "You are more than this. You are more than this." And so I picked up that call and I took off the masquerade mask and I told everybody, take the lid off the box you put God in. I'm going to be all that I am designed to be, all that he's made me. I've got God DNA. I'm a child of the living God. I'm a new creature, a new creation. And I'm going to live fully expressed as that person, as he's designed me to be. And so it's been a journey, and it's been incredible and awesome.
Wow. Boom, baby. Wow. That's just a powerful statement. I talk about challenges with my foot and overcoming, right? But it's amazing how you just said, What a powerful backstory. Listen to what he said. I'm going to say this earlier in our show. This is a time of the show that I want you to get your pen and paper out and take some notes, because Titus is going to drop some wisdom. He just dropped a lot of wisdom right there. And think about his backstory, where he started, and it started with a decision. So Titus, let me ask you this, right? I almost broke my foot. It's been a lot harder than what I expected, to be honest with you. This morning was the first time I pushed myself because I was challenged by my coach. He's like, "What's wrong?" I was like, "Man, I haven't worked out. I missed it. It's been a month." And I can see that my morning routine is out of whack. I find myself a little bit antsy and just, I don't have that edge that I did. He goes, "So why aren't you working out?" I said, "Because I'm scared." I'm scared. I'm scared because my foot is not 100%. He goes, "Well, don't worry about your foot. Just do what you can do." This challenge has rocked me to the core. And I will tell you, when I started working out this morning, I teared up because I didn't know how long it was going to be. I was grateful just to limp my way into that gym. But the way I limped into that gym, you limped out of a household that had beat you up, crushed you down. And I'm glad we're talking about this, because you said something that was powerful. And I want to start with this. So many of us were limping, right? We're limping, but we put on that masquerade. And you finally decided to take off that masquerade. And what was the final just straw that you said, "This is enough. This is bull"?
You know, I would say it's several small decisions, right? And when you're off course, to get back on course, it's that 1 degree of change. It's that continual 1 degree of change to get you back on course. And so for myself, I realized, I came to the awareness, I came to the realization that who I am at my core, you're talking about your core and how you got rocked to the core with your injury. At your core, we are all very powerful. God designed human, that being, to be very powerful. And it says in a book that you and I read that we'll do greater works than the one that has gone before us. So why are we not doing those greater works? Why are we not seeing healing in people? Why are we not bringing life and liberty to those that are bound, right? Why aren't we pointing the way? Why aren't we being that light to the world? Because what happens is society and our parents and everybody wants you to play it safe. And they put all these shouldn'ts and shoulds. You should do this. You shouldn't do that. And they put all these shoulds on you, and you get buried. You at the core, that light, that spark of life gets buried deep, deep, deep down underneath emotional baggage, material baggage, life baggage, hurts and pains. And what we need to realize is that's not who we truly are.
I want to ask you this, because you said something that was pretty awesome. So many of us, I want you to write this down, ladies and gentlemen. You shouldn'ts, right? That kind of caught my attention. Tell me, what are some of the you shouldn'ts that you heard, right? Because I think so many of us, those you shouldn'ts are coming to the surface right now. They're coming to the surface because everybody is going through something. And what are some of the you shouldn'ts that you see that in what you do, right? Because you have a coaching company too. So what are some of the you shouldn'ts that you see that affect people, and maybe that affected you?
You shouldn't play big, right? You should play big, but they tell you shouldn't play big. 1, because they're not playing big. 2, because they're scared of what, they'll look like when you play to your fullest, right? How does that make them look? And so everybody wants you to play average, be average, fit in, conform, right? They dilute and just water down their life, and they want to water down your life.
Wow.
And we are highly concentrated, powerful beings. And people don't realize that. And they want to walk and operate in average and walk around in weakness, when they would develop that strength to be and to live, that confidence to truly be aligned with their true self.
Yeah. Because we already have that excellence inside of us. We just don't realize that. Like you said, it's in our core, right? It's in our core. I've been studying a lot just because of, with my foot being everything. I've been on the couch and just reading and studying and learning. And something how you're saying that when we do that, when we walk around with the masquerade and we listen to those you shouldn'ts, that's what causes hopelessness, depression, because that's where the unfulfillment, the unhappiness is, because we're not doing what we were created to do. And I love what you said. So if someone is walking in there you shouldn'ts, what is something that they need to do, Titus?
Examine, right? So many times people are given a thought, right? Here's a thought, and they just blindly accept that thought as gospel or blindly accept it for their life, and they start walking and operating in it. So what they should do or could do, or I would suggest they do, is examine that suggestion that somebody gives them. You should, you shouldn't do this, you should do that. Examine it and see if it's right for their life. There's how many billions of people on the earth, and we are all unique individuals. Every single 7 billion, whatever, 8 billion people are on. I should know the population of the world, right? I should. How many ever people are out there in the world? They're unique. There's everybody, even a twin. There's maternal twins. There's twins, all, identical twins. Even they are separate and individual amongst themselves.
Yes.
And so we need to determine and find out what fits for me. Like I might like sushi. You might not like sushi, right? And I'm taking it to a very bland and palatable, common thing such as food, but everybody eats different. Some people like Brussels sprouts. Some people don't.
Yes.
Some people like to go on a long run and run 12 miles. Some people only like to sprint and do 100 meters. What is right for your life? Start to truly discover who you are. Discovering who you are is a journey and it's an adventure, but it's so exciting and it's so amazing to uncover, to be that flower that is beginning to blossom and to open up into all its beauty. That's who our audience is. That's who you and I are. We're that flower that is growing and blossoming and pointing towards the sun and receiving all that radiation and the glow, right? My company's Glow Growth and Development, that nuclear power that is at the core, your G center, that right in the middle of you is dying to come out, is so ready to be exposed and to shine the light that is inside you for all the world to see.
And it's amazing we're talking about this, because I was coming back from the gym and we had one of my clients call me and says, Daniel, I think this and this and this. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And I was just listening to her, and the word she kept on saying is, I feel. And then she kind of threw God into the mix. And I know her pretty well. She's a good client of mine. And I told her, I said, I usually agree with you when you tell me some things, because I know that you hear from our Creator, from God. But what has me concerned today is you keep saying the word, I feel. And I said, I didn't feel like coming to the gym today, but I came because I knew I had to come. I didn't feel like waking up and praying, getting out of bed, because I would just rather stay in bed. But I got out because I knew that God wanted to spend time with me. And I think so many of us, what we do, Titus, is that we live life by our feelings instead of allowing ourselves to really listen to what's that G spot. Like you said, I love that. When you really tune into that, and it was amazing. I said, okay, great. And then we said a beautiful prayer, and she just started crying because the joy of the Lord just came over her. And so many of us, like you're saying, when that flower's coming out, we want to close our own flower, right? That's the first thing I want you to touch base on. And then second of all, as that flower's coming out, it's like she believes this for her family members, for her other people, but not for herself. Elaborate on that a little bit, because after we said our conversation, we talked, she's like, you know what? You're right. Yeah, because you've never written a book before. You've never done this before. It's, of course, you're going to get frustrated and want to retreat back to what you know. Talk to us about when the flower's blooming and then we sabotage it.
Yeah, because we get scared. It's outside of our comfort zone, right? And so many times people have their walls, their borders, their boundaries. And there's the prayer Jabez talks about, enlarging my tent. growing my territory, expanding my territory, enlarging my tent. But to do that, you have to get outside the comfort zone. And so many times people are comfortable in their box, and when they grow and when they blossom, it's outside their normal and it feels different. And sometimes feeling different is good because they're growing and they're becoming that person that they're designed and supposed to be. You talked briefly about feelings, and she was talking about feelings. And there's two, in my context right now, I want to refer to two different feelings. There's the feelings that are like she was feeling scared, or she was feeling, anxious or worried. There's those feelings, right? There's also feelings on a deeper level, on the emotional side. And sometimes we need to listen to those, because that's like the intuition. That's like the things that are going to lead us and guide us into the journey and the path that we're supposed to take. So really there's two sides to that feeling and that emotional signal that we're feeling or that we're receiving. And sometimes it's that physical feeling of where they're fearful or scared or don't want to do this. But then there's also the ones that's on the inside, that gut feeling. And sometimes that will keep us out of trouble and keep us out of danger. And so for myself, I'm going to use one of the lessons that I went through was the word alone. For the longest time, I would keep myself busy. I didn't want to be alone, because to me, the word alone equaled abandonment. And I had abandonment issues and feelings from my childhood. And so I avoided being alone. What I had to do is I had to rewrite that paradigm to where alone meant recharge, refresh, renew, rejuvenate. And what I had to do to exercise that was I had to get into that feeling of being alone and really analyze it, get comfortable with it, and digest it and dissect it to where I could say, okay, and go from that point. You have to know where you're at to hit your goal. You can have a goal out in the future. You have a goal out in the future. To get to that goal, though, you have to know where you are starting from. If you were to look at a map, you use triangulation. There's 3 points of that triangulation: where you're at, where you want to be, and then another marker out there that is part of your triangulation. Sit in that feeling, sit in that emotion, analyze it, dissect it, and realize, is this something that's protecting me? Is it something that I can disregard? Is it something that I can move beyond, that I can move past? Or is it something that is my old paradigm that's trying to keep me where I'm at?
Man, boom, baby. That's some powerful stuff there, dude. Look at you. Do you have a PhD, or how many? You got some wisdom today, Titus. I thank you for sharing that. I want you to think about what Titus just said. Feelings can be good and feelings can be bad. Listen to your gut. Write it down. But emotional feelings of fear and worry and doubt, that's not your intuition. That's going to be mostly just the fact that you're getting out of your comfort zone. But if you have a gut feeling about caution, wisdom, that's what he's talking about. And when he's talking about your paradigm, for those of you that don't understand what a paradigm is it's just a different way of seeing who you are in your mind, right? A good example of that is you're not who you were. You are who you're becoming, right? Titus is an amazing person. He's not who he was. If in his mind, if he kept on thinking about who he was, he would never be where he's at right now. So stop looking back to who you were and start looking forward to who you're going to become and who you're going to be becoming. Because you can be, do, and have whatever you want. But you can't be, do, and have whatever you want if you keep looking backwards. Man, Titus, you're dropping some wisdom right now, my friend. Let's shift here. Tell us a time in your life where you lost your confidence. And what did you learn about yourself, whether it's in life or business? Tell us a time that you lost your confidence. And what did you learn about yourself in that season?
So yesterday, every day, right? There's always that moment of doubt, always that thought of unbelief. that creeps in. And it was yesterday, I'm sitting there and I'm questioning myself. I'm questioning, am I doing the right things? Am I living the life that I'm supposed to be? Yeah, just because I'm Titus doesn't mean I'm exempt from having those moments of doubt and unbelief, right? Just because I'm further down the journey than somebody else doesn't mean that I still don't get scared, right? That the valley of the shadow of death doesn't, I still have to walk through that just like everybody else does. But it's that muscle, it's that exercise that has brought me to a place to where I can say, okay, I've been here before. I got through it last time. I can get through it again. And for me, God is a huge foundation in my life. I had an incredible experience with last night with the Holy Spirit. I took one bite, right? One bite of my meal. And I was watching one of my favorite YouTube channels, and it was praise and worship. And the presence of the Holy Spirit hit my apartment. And I set my food down. I got on my knees, and the words that came to my thought at that moment was divine vibration. What's divine vibration feel like? Do you recognize that? And are you in tune with it? Are you in harmony with it? And so many times people are on a vibration that's hate, anger, worry, all these lower vibrations of common life. And me, for myself, I'm doing everything, not everything, as much as possible for Titus to raise and elevate my vibration to the divine. There's a story in the Old Testament of a guy named Esau. I think it was Esau or Enoch. Maybe it's Enoch. Enoch spent so much time with God, God took him up. He's like, boop. There's theories of time travel. There's theories of jumping quantum fields and so on and so forth.
But what did you learn about? So when you go into these seasons of doubt, right? That which you're referring to as loss of confidence. What have you learned about that? Because I think right now, I love what you said, because so many times when I ask this question, we think of a big event in our lives where we lost it, which is true. But I like what you said, because that was no one's ever answered it like that. That it happens daily, like you said. Doubt comes in, creeps in, and he's the best salesperson there is. So what did you learn about yourself in these seasons of doubt and when you overcame them?
You can get through it. You did it once, you can do it again. And the more you do it, just like repetition at the gym, the workout, the more you do it, the stronger you get. And so now when the fear, the worry, the doubt knocks on my door, I can recognize it. For one, I recognize it. And two, I don't pay attention to it. Right? They talk about a bird can land on your head, but it's only you that's going to let it stay there. Right? You can't necessarily stop the bird from landing on your head. That thought, you can't stop the thought from entering your mind, but you can definitely keep it from sitting there and residing in your mind. You can prevent it from dwelling on it. Are you dwelling on things that you shouldn't be dwelling on? Change your thought.
Okay, that's good. I like what you said. So then how do you change your thought?
Make a decision.
Okay, but people that maybe somebody's listening to this and they're not in the personal growth part, right? We know, but we're talking to maybe somebody that's new to the area, that's trying to change their life. They got fired. Sure. Somebody told them, hey, listen to Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. And they're like, man, these words are too big. Maybe I'm too dumb to be listening to this. Let's be real, right? So let's speak to those people too. Like, hey, everybody, we all have different levels of taking in stuff and levels of education, but let's make it simple. That way they can understand it.
Music, movies. What are you putting in? Garbage in, garbage out. That's one of the old-time classics, right? The foundations. What are you listening to at that moment, right? Everybody's heard the song that reminds them of the old girlfriend, right? So change your music. If you want to change your thought, change your music. That's a simple exercise that they can do.
I love that. That's powerful right there, man. Y'all need to write that down. If you're feeling crappy or you're feeling down, just the way Titus said, if you're thinking about your ex-girlfriend, just as an analogy, change the song. But on the same token, would you say this, Titus? If there's a song that makes you feel good, put it on. That way it lifts up your spirits. Do you ever do that?
Absolutely. Like I was just saying, I was listening to one of my favorite YouTube channels. I know where to go, right? If I want to feel great, I know where to go to feel great. If I want to feel crappy and dumpy, I can go wallow in the pig pen. If I don't choose to, I know where to go. If I want to be wrapped up in all the family drama or the drama of my friends, I know which friend to call and say hi, and they're going to dump all this crap on me because it's a bunch of drama. I know who to call. I know who to avoid.
You know what? I'm glad Titus said that, because I want to say this. Right now, under pressure, it's easy to run back to those people that always complain and are negative. And it can even be a family member, but it's harder to run to those people that are going to hold you accountable and ask you what can you do differently, right? One's a highway, right? The highway to easiness, and the other one's the country dirt road to hardness. So easily we take the easy road back to, hey, you know what, let me just call this person. And then next, after you hang up with them, you feel worse because, like Titus said, they just dump all their garbage and all their problems and all their gossip. And the worst thing you can do is gossip, because nothing kills your dreams like gossip. And nothing kills your dreams like slander. And man, Titus, you're dropping some wisdom here, my friend. I'm loving this.
So let me ask you, you said you could call the friend with drama, or you could call the friend that lifts you up. And you said that it was hard to call the friend that lifts you up. Why is it hard?
Well, not that it's hard, but sometimes when people avoid the fact that they don't want to hear the truth, right? The word is accountability. We always call the friend that doesn't hold us accountable as to the friend that holds us accountable, is the way I wanted to say that, right?
Okay.
Because
I'm seeking clarity.
Yeah. You know what? I'm just going to call this person because, like the old Daniel, right? You know what? I'm just going to go have a drink and hang out. It's like, right? No accountability. It's like, forget your problems. Just go have a good time. Yeah. And then, like, oh, crap, it's already 1:00 in the morning. Or you can call that friend and says, well, dude, what happened? Were you wrong? Did you raise your voice to your wife? Could you have done something differently? And we're questioning, and our ego comes up because it's accountability. And right away, we're like, you know what? Forget it, man. Whatever. Like, you just get more mad because your ego rises up. So we call the friend that doesn't hold us accountable because we just want to feel good. It goes back to the feelings we were talking about.
Yeah. And you also mentioned the word ego.
Yeah.
Right? Not to say that the ego should die, but we should definitely have control over our ego, because how many lessons are learned and not learned because of our ego getting in the way? Many. There's a story that I know of where the guy had a disease and he went to the healer and asked to be healed. And the guy says, go dip in the river 7 times and you'll be healed. And the guy says, I don't want to dip in that crappy, nasty river that's south of the cesspool. No way. And his servant says to him, Master, are you going to have such pride and ego that you're not going to do such a simple thing as dip in the Jordan 7 times to heal this life-sapping disease? And so he did, and he was healed. But how many times would somebody's ego get in the way and they would not receive their blessing, not receive that healing, not receive that abundance, not receive the life that they're designed to have because the ego gets in the way?
Yes. That's powerful stuff there, man. Man, I'm telling you. Well, let me ask you this. What makes Titus distinctive?
Glow. I discovered my heart in October of 2018, and it gave me a reason to put passion behind my purpose. And I live like I preach. I live like I teach. Am I perfect? No. Do I strive to be better? Yes. Am I an example for others? Absolutely. Transformation is possible. I want people to know transformation, transforming your life from where it is now to where you want it to be, is possible. Some people don't even know where they want to be. I'm dealing with a client now. He doesn't know what he wants, but what he does know is what he doesn't want. And I can work with that. Let's talk about what you don't want and design the life that you do want. Transformation is possible.
Wow, that was some good stuff. So you made a comment that I caught my attention there. So you put your passion behind your purpose. What's the difference between not having that passion behind your purpose to now?
Huh. So many times in the past, like I'm a business person. I grew up in the sales, marketing, and business world. 25 years of pushing red, and what happens is you put your ladder against the wrong building. And so I would climb halfway up the ladder and say, "Oh, I'm on the wrong building." Climb back down. "Oh, I'm on the wrong building." So I was continually looking for the right building to climb up. And once I discovered my heart, I'm like, "Oh, there's the right building." And now I can climb it with purpose and passion. And let's go, baby.
I love that. I love that. See, so when you live with your purpose, what Titus is saying, think about this. I'm going to ask y'all a question, and it's a silly question, but it has a lot of power behind it. Ladies and gentlemen, would a fish enroll in fishing lessons? Think about that. Would a fish enroll in fishing lessons? No, because it already knows it's a fish. It knows how to swim. Why would it enroll in swimming lessons, right? I mean, swimming lessons. A fish would not enroll in swimming lessons because it already knows how to swim. That's when you know you're in your purpose. That's when it's easy. It comes easily to you and it speaks to your heart. And when you put your passion behind your purpose, that's where the transformation comes that Titus is talking about. Titus, I want you to share with us a verse or a saying or a quote that has spoken to you in the times of difficulty in your life.
Sure. And just to go back 1 second to what you were just talking about, glow, growth, and development is coming from heart and working in flow. And when you discover your purpose, you are operating in flow. So that's just to finish off what you were just talking about. The verse that comes to my mind right at the moment is somebody asked the master, "What are the most important commandments?" 1, to love God with all your heart. 2, to love your neighbor beyond yourself. You can't love God, you can't love the neighbor if you can't love yourself. So many times religion in the world puts loving you as something that is a negative. It is needed, it is required. You have to love yourself. My cup is full and running over. I love myself so I can love others. And the verse that's right after that says, all these things hinge on these 2 commandments. The law, the Old Testament, hinges on those 2 commandments.
Yes, I love that. You know, you made me think of something. I was on a conference with Dr. Joe Vitale, and he said something that really spoke to me. And it's simple but powerful. And he says this, it's some type of Hawaiian therapy that he learned, but the way he described it, I was like, And it just really spoke to me. He says, "I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you." And when I heard that, I was like, man, that's kind of corny. That's kind of simple, right? But sometimes the simple things are the most profound. And I've been saying that, and me and my wife have been saying that. He goes, just say it to where subconsciously, that's the first thoughts that come up, right? So I love you, right? Like you said, love yourself. I'm sorry. It's easy to apologize and forgive anybody. And please forgive me, right? How many of us ego, like you talked about, we don't ask for forgiveness and just say thank you. Many of us can't say thank you. And that's what I thought about, right? I have had grown clients that have cried because they've never told themselves they love themselves. And that's one of the exercises that we go through. When you see a grown man, even a woman cry, it's like they've never been told by their mom or dad that they were loved or just verbally. And you're right, 100% that love answers so many of our problems in our hearts and souls if we just open ourselves up to that. Titus, man, this has been an amazing, amazing interview. How do we get a hold of you, dude? Like, man, you were epic.
So what you were just referring to with Joe Vitale is called Ho'oponopono. Ho'oponopono. And yes, I love you. Thank you. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. They can find me at theglowcenter.com. Theglowcenter.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram. I'm out there. I'm on social media. I'm not hard to find. 719-229-1110 is my cell phone. Feel free to reach out, shoot me a text. Let me know that you're calling. I would be glad to talk to anybody, help them go from where they're at to where they want to be, help them in their transformation.
And he means that. Call him. He answers his phone all the time. Well, this has been another amazing show. Wow, a lot of great wisdom. So my takeaways were this, right? Take off the mask. Take off the masquerade, like Titus said, because it's no longer serving you. It's time to really go into your destiny and start living in your purpose. And remember, a fish doesn't go for swimming lessons. So stop doing what you weren't created to do. Start living your life. If you love what you heard here, we definitely want you to join our Facebook group, Distinctive Syndicate. We would love for you to come join our family, our community. We have a lot of just nice people that really add value to each other. And then coming up March 5th and 6th, we're going to have the Sticker Shock Speaking Academy here in San Antonio, Texas. We have some amazing people going to come teach and really help you become a paid speaker. So if you need paid speaking engagements, or if you're an aspiring young speaker that somebody's laughing at you, like they laughed at me when I first started, we want to hear from you. Email me at daniel@danielgomezspeaker.com. And we would love to have you here in San Antonio, Texas on March 5th and 6th and be part of the Sticker Shock family. I'll tell you, it's going to change your life. Well, that's a wrap for this week's episode. We'll see you next week here on the Daniel Gomez Inspire Show. This is Daniel Gomez, and thank you so much for tuning into our show today. We'd love your feedback. Please drop us a comment, and thank you for leaving us a review. Don't forget to subscribe to our show and share this episode with a friend. And my free gift for listening to our show today is a copy of my best-selling book, You Were Born to Fly. To get your free copy, go to danielgomezinspires.com and get your copy today. That's danielgomezinspires.com. And to elevate your life and business even more, follow me on social media at Daniel Gomez Inspires on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Together, we will discover the key that unlocks your confidence.